Well, welcome back to the homestead. In today's episode, we're going to be working upstairs. So last episode, we were downstairs and we had finished up all of the rooms that were going to get painted Nantucket dunes. And while I was rolling those walls, and I had the corner roller, I came upstairs and all the upstairs rooms that are going to be Nantucket dunes, I went ahead and rolled the corners of those as well. So I don't have to do an extra cleanup of that roller. And rolling the corners really only takes a second or two per corner, so it wasn't a big deal to jump upstairs and just get all of that done. So now that we've gotten all of the downstairs painted Nantucket dunes, what I want to do today is I'm going to come upstairs and I'm going to go ahead and put in all of the bulbs in my can lights, because I have those on site and I'm tired of tripping over them. So we're going to get those bulbs installed. We may or may not use them for lighting, but if we want to, they'll be there and available. But at any rate, I can get the boxes out of my way. So the first thing we're going to do is put the bulbs in, and then after we put the bulbs in, we're going to start working on doing the cut-in for all of the Nantucket Dunes rooms upstairs. And that will be the upstairs landing and the upstairs bathroom and my son's bedroom. So once we have all those cut in, then we'll come back and we'll start doing some rolling of the walls. But first thing I want to do is finish all of the cut in. And I may or may not get that done today because I'm really slow with doing cut in. And there's a different technique I want to do for doing cut in up here, because I may or may not put corner molding in up or crown molding upstairs. And if I don't, I want to make sure that these lines are a lot straighter than the lines that we cut in downstairs. Downstairs, I know I'm going to be putting crown molding in, so the cut-in wasn't really crucial to me. Upstairs, it's still a question, so we're going to take a little more time on that, and I'll show you that process when we get to it. But for now, let's go ahead and get those bulbs installed and start doing some cut-in. Okay, I've gotten all the lights put in the cans upstairs and we're ready to start doing the cut-in on the walls. And the only problem is cutting the walls in upstairs is going to be a little bit different than we did downstairs. So downstairs, when I did my cut-in, I wasn't too worried about the neatness of it because I'm going to be installing crown molding, and you're really never going to see the joint between the ceiling and the wall anyway once the crown molding's up. So we cut in fairly quickly. We did a decent job. I mean, it looks good when you're across the room looking at it. But if you were real close to it, you can see a lot of imperfections on it. So upstairs, I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to be doing crown molding because I've got 45-degree walls in every room. And I haven't decided exactly how I want to trim that out with crown molding, if I'm going to do it at all. So if I don't trim these rooms out with crown molding, what I really need to do is find a way to do my cut-in much better than what I did downstairs. So I've been looking around and I found a technique that a lot of people are using, and they say they get pretty good results with it. And what they're doing is they're taking painter's tape and they're putting on one of the textured surfaces, and then you rub a bead of clear silicone over that, and then paint and pull your tape off, and that's supposed to give you a nice straight line. So we're going to try that technique today, and let me zoom in on this textured wall behind me and let you see why we need to put that caulk on there. Alright, so I'm hoping this will show up on the camera, but you can see there's a lot of variance in the texture of this wall. It's just called a light knockdown, and the ceiling has even more because it's a medium to heavy. So if you just take a piece of painter's tape and put on this and push it in really good, the idea is that painter's tape is supposed to seal that. But in all honesty, there are a few gaps where this mud is really high, where it transitions from high to low, there's a few places that that tape is not sealing up. And I don't know if that's showing up on the camera or not, but if I just come back and paint over this seam and then pull this tape off, I will have places where the paint bleeds under the edge of the tape. But if I take a light coat of clear caulk and come down this line, anywhere that the tape is not sealed off, that clear caulk will go under the tape. And then when I wipe off the excess and I paint that, the paint line will be straight with the edge of the tape. And any caulk that goes under this tape is going to dry clear. So once it's all dry, you won't be able to see the caulk at all. So that should leave us a fairly straight line for the cut-in on that. And that's the method that I'm going to be trying on the ceilings. So let's give it a shot and see if it does any good. All right, so now that we've gotten all of this painted, I want to go ahead and pull the tape off before the caulking dries. So let's see what the lines look like. All right, so you can see here, I've got a very nice straight line here, and I'm really happy with that. And I've got a pretty straight line up at the ceiling. The ceiling's not quite as straight because it's very hard to get your tape to lay straight, just because you have two surfaces coming in at 90 degrees and both surfaces have texture on them. So there is no paint getting under the tape. The method works, but there's a limit to how straight you can get the tape on that surface. But it is still much straighter than what I can do just freehand cut in. So I'm going to continue to use that process throughout the rest of the upstairs. And it does take me a little longer to do that, so I don't know how much I'll get done today, but my goal is to get all of the upstairs cut in and to start rolling some of the walls, so we'll just have to see. But for now, I'm going to get busy doing the cut-in. All right, so that does it for the painting of the rooms upstairs and downstairs that are going to be the Nantucket Dunes color, which is what you see behind me here. So that consists of the living room, the kitchen, the dining room, the rear entryway, the staircase, the landing that I'm standing in, my son's bedroom, and the upstairs bathroom. Those are all this Nantucket Dunes color that you see right here. And then that still leaves my office upstairs, and downstairs the master bedroom, master bathroom, and the utility room. And all of those are going to get painted on lime gray. So we're going to start off tomorrow working on those, and hopefully we'll get those finished up by the weekend, and then I can switch over to working on the electrical stuff and try and get that task finished up as well. So for the electrical, once all the painting's done, I need to install the switches and the outlets, and then down in the utility room we have to install or terminate all the wires that are pulled in. And then I'm still working on trying to get power ran to the land. So I got a letter in the mail today from the electric company asking for the last couple of sign-offs. Once I give that, they're going to put me on the list to run the poles and everything, and they think it'll be sometime late October that they'll get that done. So once they get the poles installed, I'll have to dig a ditch from the last pole over to the house, because the house is going to be fed underground, and get that terminated, and we'll finally have power to the house. So that'll be a refreshing change, but that's going to be a little while. But for now, all the painting's done today, and we're going to wrap this video up. So until next time, y'all keep checking back.